My name is Lynda, and today you are on a Moment with Lynda channel, and we're going to be discussing life after Ozempic. Currently, I'm not on Ozempic. I've been off of Ozempic for 9 months. Now, that is a pretty substantial time, and that's why I'm deciding to make this video. What happens further along? The first thing is a lot of people want to know is, do you gain all your weight back? 9 months is a good indicator. Is that going to happen? Now, I have not gained all my weight back. I haven't gained right now. I'm about 5 pounds up, and I believe a lot of that is water retention right now. We know, especially as females, you get that around certain times, and it's just a natural thing. So, roughly, typically it's about 5 to 7 pounds, somewhere in that ballpark. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm maintaining my weight. So I'm so happy about that, just being able to maintain. And only reason why I went on a maintenance is because the second thing concern I had about this was, am I gonna get diabetes back full force? Is it gonna be worse? And my number's gonna be higher? So that's what my main concern was. I never got on this just solely for weight loss. It was mainly my pre-diabetes. It was always running high. My numbers were like 110, 120, which is, pretty substantially high, So I was reluctant to get on Ozempic because of the fact I don't like taking medications. That's not going to be my first resort. I kept telling her, let me try. I was very busy at work, working, anywhere from 12, 14, 16 hours sometimes. So I was not doing a good job at changing those numbers. That's when my doctor said, enough is enough. We got to put you on something. And that's how I ended up on Ozempic. And even then I was like pushing back, like, oh, well, what's going to happen if I don't take this medication? And she's like, number one, it's very expensive. So if I prescribe it and you take it home, that would be a very waste. And number two, do you know what dialysis is? And I was like, what? Dialysis? I already know. I do not want to be dealing with that. So shout outs to anybody on dialysis. That has to be a grueling situation as far as, what you go through every time you take a dialysis treatment. I have a very good friend that needs a kidney transplant right now and take dialysis on a daily basis at home. So I already know what that entails. That's either because you've damaged your organs by not taking a pill, for my particular friend, a high blood pressure or diabetes. I've heard both of them. So that's all she had to say. And I said, I think I could take that shot, So I took the shot and I ended up where I was at now, and being off of it, I've maintained my blood sugars through diet and exercise as well. And exercise. And when I talk about exercise, I'm talking about going out there, hit that pavement 30, 45 minutes a day, every day if you can, and at a minimum 5 days a week. And that's what I've been doing. And originally when I got off, my blood sugar was going up a little bit. I had to cut all sugars out. I mean, I'm on an extreme diet, but my mind is there, and your mind has to be there. Board just telling me to cut it out. I thought it was just high because maybe something I ate a few days ago, and she was telling me it was high. So I go back in a day or two. This is a lifestyle change. In order to reverse your diabetes, you do have to do a lifestyle change. If that's something that you're wanting to do. And when I say lifestyle changes, I'm talking about cutting out all sugars. Again, I'm not saying I never cheat. I think out of the last 9 months, maybe one slip up, and I knew I was slipping up, but I did it anyway. And those are the things that you have to be mindful of and say, you know what, hey, I deserve it. My numbers have been awesome. let me go ahead and make this extra walk around this block and call it a day, and I'm gonna go ahead and have some ice cream because I haven't had it in a while, or some sherbet instead of ice cream. But again, those things are very bad for us, and that's one thing we have to keep in mind. Even if you're not a diabetic, these things are bad for you. Stopping at fast food is very unhealthy for you. So that is one of the other things that I wanted to discuss. Those two things were my main thing on the list that I was very, very concerned and kept my numbers checked up probably more than I ever have. And 3 to 5 times a day, I'm checking my numbers just to make sure when I get up, after I eat, before I eat, midday, just constantly checking my numbers just to make sure, because I'm not trying to be on dialysis, but at the same time, I do want to be off of medication, because one thing you have to understand, today you might have your insurance paying for it, but say you change jobs, or better yet, your insurance, your company says, hey, we're paying too much on insurance. And I've had that happen, or I've seen companies do that. I won't say it happened to me because it didn't affect me at that time, because I really never stayed on medications. But say, they say, hey, we changed our insurance up because it was getting too expensive for us to keep that up, this and that. So now they won't cover Ozempic. And Ozempic range, and not just Ozempic, any of these GLP ones range anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000, depending on your dosage. It's a lot of variables. Depending on if you're on Wegovy. Now, some people may have that for weight loss. I know there's one company, if you're obese and you're trying to lose weight, that I work for, they did pay for those kinds. So there are companies out there that will pay for weight loss management and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that it's completely out the question. Again, I have a whole video on that to see what your company covers and stuff like that. However, I just wanted to, do I want to have to be on this medication for the rest of my life? Am I just going to accept what's being told to me, that I have pre-diabetes and it's going to turn into diabetes if I don't stop? So my mind was not caught up to my diagnosis. Fast forward at this point in my life, after being on Ozempic for 18 months and being off of it for 9 months, it's really hit me that, hey, I have to do something. I'm the one that is responsible for my health and my well-being. And if I don't have to take medication, I absolutely don't. And we'll get in the background of me a little bit about holistic vitamins and different things. One thing I'm even doing now is starting a vegetable garden that's like natural, where it doesn't have any pesticides on it. This is some things that I found during my studies. A lot of medical doctors, they want to just treat the symptoms and not the problem. The real problem goes back to our foods and what we're putting in our body. So that is what I had to go back to my grassroots. I think my uncle, Dr. Kanisi, would be very proud of me. He would be mad because I even left his teaching. But at the end of the day, he would be very proud that I remembered everything, and then it started clicking back. My mom had cancer, breast cancer at one time, and we went on an extreme lifestyle adjustment. And just to give you an idea, some things that are not tainted, and they even say fish, for example, is tainted a little bit into these days of time. It has too much mercury in it. Yeah, if they're deep sea fish, you got freshwater fish, you have all different things. I wouldn't catfish. I don't go for rainbow fish, different things like that that's still healthy, that's still going to give you your omegas. Fish is so compacted with so many healthy things that can repair your bodies. The omega is very healthy for you. It's one of the healthiest least tainted, that's not injected with chemicals, and you're eating those. And it comes back to what I was saying about farmers nowadays, where they're mass producing, they have to have a plane fly over and spray these pesticides that get into the ground, the roots, and now it's into your fruit. They're not as healthy as it used to be. And that is the really personally from Dr. Kanisi back in the day when he was teaching us this when I was growing up in the 80s. This is what's causing a lot more diabetes. When you look at diabetes, it's on the rise. So we need to get back to gardening in our freaking backyard. And I will show you, not today, but I'm going to show you because I've already planted me just some potters right now because I'm starting back into that. I've done it before. And getting back to my mother, she had breast, they found some lumps in her breast, and he was able to disseminate those. Basically, they went down just by us changing our diet, eating more, mainly fish and seafood. And if you're going to fry it, you put peanut oil and eat, some of his high quality vitamins we used, as well as eating good, mainly it was a fish diet. He said, I don't care what they say, you're not going to die from no mercury. They put mercury, at one time they was put mercury as fillings, but then they're saying fish is not good for you. But, again, there's freshwater fish, there's deep sea fish. A lot of times they say salmon. Salmon is a good hearty fish. However, you do have to keep in mind salmon is a bigger fish that is found deeper, but you can go with a cod. There's other fishes that are smaller fish that doesn't carry as much mercury. So I know we didn't want to get into that, but the other thing is people want to know, do you get the food noise back? And immediately when I quit taking Ozempic is for the first 30 days, it was in my system. I could tell I had the same type of eating habits. It was nothing different. I stayed fuller longer. That's what the medication does. It was just like I'd taken I couldn't tell any difference. Now, once I got to the 2 to 3 week time frame, that's when I can kind of see, I'm a little bit hungrier quicker. So I had to modify my diet to accommodate that with lower calorie foods. And meaning I eat more soups, and that's why I always emphasize different type of soups. You can have lentil soups, you can have chicken noodle soup. And another thing I do, even the spaghetti, I do squash spaghetti. So squash is your noodles, and with the little spaghetti sauce and some Italian sausage or some sauce, some hamburger meat. Tastes just like spaghetti in my opinion. But again, I have modified my diet to where I've learned to like things and just modify it. And once you start eating healthy, you consistently stay like that because now your body is just used to it. But the thing is to get to that point, and that's what Ozempic allowed me to do, is to slowly make those adjustments to where I can make it a lifestyle adjustment. And no, I do not get those cravings. I'm totally, pretty much, I'm not gonna say 100% sugar free, but pretty much I'm sugar free diet, a very low sugar free diet. And so I don't really get a lot of cravings. I say out of the 9 months, I might have had one sweet thing. Now, on the side effects of Ozempic, I really was at a minimum on side effects, which I've reported in other videos, and I'll link those to this video. I really had very minimal side effects, the stomach issues. It was only when I went from one dosage to a higher dosage, and then I'd probably be sick for a little while. I had loose stools, and that was the complications of my side effects. Okay. So that didn't affect me as much as once I did get off Ozempic, I would say after that 30-day period, My stools went back to normal, a little bit harder, not as loose. And I don't like talking about stools, but it has to be talked about. You want to know, and I got to tell you. So my stool got firmer, as well as, of course, the nausea and any kind of not feeling too good once I increased my dosage went away because I don't have a dosage. So my side effects is completely gone. So the takeaway from this, I've maintained my weight, which is myth number one, that you're gaining all back. Number two, my diabetes is under control. I'm not having high blood sugars anymore. They're always consistently within the range, and the range is 70 to 100. That's a good, healthy blood sugar level, and that's where mine stay. And then on top of that, I'm not really having food cravings or anything like that. So I hope this helped you a lot. I do want to thank everyone that subscribed to the channel already. And thank you for looking at my videos. I hope that my videos are bringing information and knowledge to people that either are considerate, trying Ozempic or any of the GLP-1s or Wegovy, anything. And that's why I started this channel. And number two, I also want people to understand this is a safe zone. Please do not knock people for taking Ozempic. For me personally, it helped me get to the point that I'm at now. I've always considered myself and never had to take medications. Now I'm completely not taking any medications again. I did take it for a temporary time. Those are people's choices. And unfortunately, you may not agree with it, but that is a choice. And that's what this channel is about. Going back, hindsight being 2020, I wish I could have went immediately to where I'm at now, but there was a process, and there was a process to even, and we'll talk about that later, to get to the point that I'm at, to get to the point that I was at, because I was working so much. I was so concerned of my career and other things. My health was going to the wayside. I thank you for joining, and see you on the next video. Peace.